Ericthemasterblaster back with you. Glad to be home from Texas. Now, as I promised, we will teach how to create a medical grow room properly, and that's what the trip down there was for. And again, I told you it changed, but I have to compilate everything to really present what took place. But in the meantime, I will teach you other ways to create medical products that you can help yourself. Now again, if you're legal state, have the paperwork. If not, store this information so you can medically help yourself. So what we're going to do today is teach you how to make ghee and or use coconut oil to absorb terpenes to make edibles such as brownies, cookies, you know, whatever. And it's very similar to the process that my company Leaves of Release does with making lotions. It's very similar to the process I'm going to teach you, just with a few changes. So let's pretend we're making ghee and or butter and or coconut oil. Now the reason that I prefer organic, cold pressed, now listen, unrefined. If you use coconut oil, it has to be unrefined. Otherwise, refined coconut oil will not absorb any terpenes. The refined coconut oil will absorb 3 times what butter will, which is what, you know, has been done since the 60s or probably prior to that. So if you want to use butter or if you want to use coconut oil, when I make it, I'm using it in large volume. Now listen, you do not have to use your bud. You can use your scrap. You can use your roots. All the CBDs, CBNs, everything you need is in that. So I simply take, you know, whatever leftover matter I've got, put it in a pot, fill it up to water to about here, and then put in, I don't know, a gallon of coconut oil and let that go. Now a lot of people think or say that 3 hours is long enough. I believe in getting everything that I can out of the cannabis plant. So I let mine go for 24 hours. Really upsets my wife because it smells up the house. Now let's talk about making ghee. Now if you don't have the amount of cannabis scrap that I have, it does not, again, it does not have to be bud. That's my trim, my stems, that all holds a lot of powerful medication in it. But if you only have a little bit of scrap, try making ghee this way. Just take a simple mason jar, fill it with, and you'll notice, this is just trim leaves, stems, and scrap, but this has a lot of medication in it. In one mason jar filled, take coconut oil. If you prefer using butter, go ahead, but I'm telling you that Master Blaster is telling you that butter will not contain as much terpenes as the coconut oil will. But go either way you want. Put this in, fill it up, and then melt, heat up your coconut oil and or butter. Fill this, let it absorb, smash it down, refill it. And then if you don't have the equipment, just do a simple thing called double boiling. Basically a pressure cooking. You tighten that lid down on the mason jar. Tighten it down tight. Trust me, the first time the Master Blaster did this, he had it on the stove and I was like careful to even come up to it. So you simply, it's called double boiling. And double boiling is simply having one pot. Now I recommend one bigger than this. I didn't have anything better to demonstrate. And then a glass that will fit down in. See, now you want this sitting, you want a wider pot. This will have boiling water. You don't want to set that mason jar right on the base of this pan. The heat will be too intense, it will shatter the glass. So you take a Pyrex dish and you set it in and you fill it with water as well. You set your mason jar in and you double boil. And you do that the same as I do on the stove. I mean, they say 3 hours is enough. I recommend at least, if you're mason jarring it, 10 hours. And then let it sit and cool off. Do not try to open that jar. Do not try to touch it. Oh. Thing I forgot to tell you is you do have to pay attention because boiling water evaporates. So you will have to fill the water in the double boil if this is how you're going to do it. But do not use cold tap water. If you add cold water to heat, it will explode exactly like the Master Blaster has done many times. I'm just trying to share information. It's about making a medical product. So heat your tap water up as hot as it will go. Turn your stove off for a few minutes. Fill hot water back in. and then turn your stove back on safely, or your electric heat plate, whichever you're using. I'm telling you, this is a very healing product. Once this is done boiling, you're going to remove it, let it cool completely down, 100%. Now there's many ways to do this. Usually, gosh, I did that too tight. I use cheesecloth and put over top of this, but you can also buy micron filters, which, let me rephrase that. I used to use cheesecloth. Now I've gone to micron filters. And you just simply put that over that, and patience, patience, patience when you're doing this stuff. I mean, everybody wants instant results. You turn that upside down and you let it drain, let it drain, let it drain. I mean, wait a couple hours and come back. Just let it do what it's going to do into another container. Use a pot or a glass dish. Then you're going to remove everything into that filter and or cheesecloth, and you're going to squeeze it out and get every drop you can out of it. Now, if you're doing it in this manner, you can then refill it with butter and or coconut oil, because you can get the same amount out as you did the first time, because you're in such a closed area. And then I recommend, if you're making brownies, make sure you buy an oil-based brownie mix and use twice what they ask for oil with your either or butter or coconut oil. So I hope in the meantime, while we're putting this other stuff together, that helps teach somebody something. Leaves of Relief, with the help of Crop Kings, Master Blaster is out.